Good today. We'll see where we're at here. Hello, Jaron Allen. How you doing, buddy? And Dari Jean. How's everyone doing this morning? Can everyone hear me all right? If you're on Periscope and YouTube land, shoot me a message. Let me know you're there because I'm on Restream. If you are, please feel free to comment. It's the only way I can speak with you as I don't see the comments on YouTube or Periscope. We'll see if my General Jen is in the house today. McQuaid is here. Tally is here. Katrina has joined. Right on. Guys, so yesterday, my feed didn't go live into YouTube. So I'm going to try to make sure that is happening. As it just makes things easy. Egan in Florida, how you doing? Swine flu is coming. So let's talk about swine flu, shall we, Tally? Oh, it says I'm live, so that's good. That's I'm glad that's happening. All right. Swine flu is coming. Brace yourselves. Do we need another pandemic? I don't know. We've seemed to be doing so well with this one. I mean, look at all the extra arts and crafts and hobbies that everybody has picked up during this pandemic. Lee Kenton, how you doing, buddy? If swine flu is coming, just imagine the new hobbies that we'll learn and pick up from another lockdown. So that seems to be what's happening today. Los Angeles is getting we're going to be talking to our governor today and our mayor. It seems that another lockdown is on the way. But America has already taken advantage of the first lockdown. What have we learned? Well, for us here at the Art of Charm with you guys, we talked about marketing. We talked about self-analysis. We talked about digital distancing from our devices so that we may be better. And now let's look on a brighter scope what America has done as a whole to get better during this lockdown of the pandemic. We learned insurgent tactics, revolution. We've learned how to take over cities. We learned. So just imagine what we're going to learn on the next lockdown. All jokes aside, I don't think we're ready for swine flu lockdown. So guys, so many things are going down. I woke up today. I didn't even know what I wanted to talk to. People are going mental. You think, Tally? The only reason that I'm not, yes, my General Jen is in the house. I hope you can hear that okay, Jennifer. So we are going mental. And that's just the deal of it. Morning from Portland. How is Portland this morning? Yes, we are going mental because we have had too much time on our hands. It's funny. When this all started with the lockdown, I had specifically laid out a plan on how to stay busy, stay productive, stay focused as this was going to be a marathon and not a sprint, and that it would behoove us to keep our wits about ourselves. And good morning to you in Tucson. We wanted to make sure that the isolation and to be taken away from our social lives and our hobbies and all the little things that make every day special that we take for granted, taken from us. And then, of course, we're going to be angry. And so for us here, this is why I started going live every morning, to talk to you guys, to make sure that I was healthy and I was staying focused. And I also stated that when we were coming out of the first lockdown, as we were going to test the waters, guys, didn't I say, and this is not to my credit of being smart, we all know that's not the case. However, didn't I say that this was going to be a entrepreneurial way of testing the waters of where COVID was, that we needed to open up the lockdown, slowly open in phases, see how things are going, monitor the cases, because we might have to pull back, that it was going to be touch and go for a while. But no, we couldn't do it that way. We have found hesitation, resistance, and politics in every aspect of us working through this, which has set up hurdles that only have gotten in our way to do this in a healthy, accommodating, and with the information that we need to do it correctly. No, we had our political leaders ham-fisted, doing it wrong, doing things willy-nilly. There was no state accordance with each other. There was no plan to allow all of us to feel good about. And what did we end up happening? We had Charlie's in the house. Thank you very much for joining us. We had utter chaos from business owners wanting to open their stores and give themselves an opportunity to work through this on their own as adults. We had protesters hitting the streets as soon as they could to display their rage of the garbage that was going on. We had full-on looters and let's say instigators jump in as well. Yeah, Jennifer's like, no one knows, and it's an election year. But this is the whole point of what I'm stating. I said that we would have to do this in a very entrepreneurial way, where you put things out there, you see what happens, and then you make changes from there. But everybody wants a black and white idea of, is this work? Is this what we're doing? Or isn't this what we're doing? No, this is a novel global pandemic. We will handle it like mature adults, and we will test some things, and we will have to make changes, and we will have to work through this. But no, the simpletons, and when I say that, I mean that to anyone who is looking for a straight A or B answer. There's only testing, split testing. In order to do that, you need a plan, and you need buy-in in that plan. You need mutual elevation of everyone in charge and the community as a whole to understand what the process will be, what it will look like, and then buy-in from at least a large portion saying, that sounds good to us, let's do this. Instead, we had confusion, chaos, no one knowing what's going on, no plan, and now here we are going back in the lockdown, which I stated that if we don't get it right, we might have to dial things back. But everyone just running out into the streets is not, that certainly couldn't have been part of the plan. How about the idea of opening responsibly? Yeah, I know. Wishful thinking. My wishful thinking and optimism is only tempered by my my personal cynicism of just how things work in a government capacity. Yeah. I know. I listen, guys. I am as optimistic as they come. I look for the positive in things. I err on the the side of giving everyone benefit of the doubt. Does that come back to bite me in the ass at times? Well, of course it does. That's why I have a fair amount of cynicism, but I don't allow my cynicism to control my overworld view. However, I just don't jump into the world so naively that I'm not cautious or put up boundaries so that my optimism doesn't get me in trouble. That's where my cynicism comes in. Cynicism and skepticism are, somebody's giving us hearts over that animal. See that? I think people will agree with having a healthy amount of cynicism and skepticism. Listen, guys, it's only right to have some hesitations about walking into things full blast. Peace, love, and flowers for everybody. Hippie the Hills is with me on it. You know, cynicism doesn't mean that you're rude. Charlie called me a hippie. Cynicism doesn't mean that you're rude or that you're nasty. It just, to me, it's the understanding of human nature. And this is a big part of this. Human nature in and itself is cruel. And you have to be okay with that. And not only is human nature cruel, we understand the human's limited capacity and how the brain works, and also where the brain comes up short. And for humans, we are capable of some incredibly wondrous things. I mean, look how I'm speaking to you guys right now. But yet we're also susceptible to its limits, to delusion, to trickery, to persuasion, to influence. And not only are we susceptible, we're easily susceptible to it. I did a whole week on it when we did marketing. And the thing about it, guys, is we're being marketed to all day long. So here we are looking at another lockdown at least for Los Angeles. I don't know how everybody else's towns are doing. I can only follow what the hell's going on in mine right now. But I stated this, and I said, guys, we got to be careful. Tally says, I bet drug overdoses and suicide rates are skyrocketing. Well, I could tell you this, Tally. The suicide rates are skyrocketing. That's a little kept under wraps, but it is. Drug overdoses, I would only assume, are going right along with that. So those are all important. But my point in this, and if I can say anything to help this situation, which is, guys, we have to be patient. We have a lot to work through. And this is the thing that why we found ourselves in trouble. You would think, how many of you all when this pandemic hit and you realized that you were stuck in your house for a certain amount of time, how many of you all said, hey, well, at least we have the internet, at least we can entertain ourselves? How many of you are now thinking that possibly that the internet and social media has only fueled the heightened state of anxiety and psychosis that we're all in? I mean, and you know, and I can say that confidently because of this book that I've been reading. Tally agrees. Completely, guys. I mean, we talk about it's a tool, but it's as a hammer is a tool, it's a jackhammer. And if people are angry, sitting at home, not having a plan, not knowing what's going on, seeing testing spikes go up, being gaslit by the media in an election year, trying to get their candidate elected, you don't think all that insanity that's online is being placed into normal human beings who are not interested or have not thought about their own mental conditioning during the last 6 months, when I have stated that we were heading for a full-on mental breakdown. I stated this. I said that this is not a sprint. I said this was going to be a marathon. And I said that this was going to be a very difficult time, that everyone's going to need to keep their wits about them, stay focused, stay busy, learn some skills, and we'll get out of this. But no, what did everyone do? Everyone decided to binge on Netflix, watch Tiger King, drive themselves nuts with social media, yell at each other in an election year, and now we're facing another lockdown. So I can say, I told you so all I want, which I guess I'm saying that. But that's not what I wanted to be saying. Anyway, so I've been bitching about social media for a very long time, and I've just started reading this book. It's for a guest who we have coming up. I'm going to try to pronounce his name. I'm probably going to get it wrong. It's by Vikram Mansharamani. Yes, Vikram Mansharamani, about thinking for yourself. And as you see, he has the car driving off the cliff. But you see that the car had artificial intelligence. He makes the claim that we have already given up a majority of our decision making to experts in artificial intelligence. And it is metaphorically and literally driving us off the cliff. And because we have outsourced, Mars Jasper says, looks like me driving. That's why I don't have a car either. Excuse me. We have already outsourced so much of our thinking to experts and artificial intelligence that we have the situation that we're in right now is our own fault. If you're angry, if you're upset, if you are frustrated right now, which I think all of us are to a certain degree, there is a certain amount of responsibility that you're going to have to take for it yourself. And think about, as looks like we might go into another lockdown, or this is going to extend for a while in the phase that we're in right now, start taking the steps now, today. You can fix this. You are not stuck. You know, hard to think for yourself with commercials and propaganda being shoved down our throats 24/7. Yes, I agree, Tally, 100%. This is why I think everyone would do themselves a giant favor if they put the devices down, myself included. I'm, I'm working on it. This is why I love reading. Every time the authors want to send a book to AOC, they go, "How would you like that? Kindle or physical? Send me the physical book." If I'm on, I will take every opportunity to get away from my computer and my phone that I can. To give me a nice big physical book to read takes me off any of that. And then I can spend another few hours not being attached to my device. So Vikram in this book points out all of these tiny little decisions that we have now turned over to the experts in artificial intelligence, the smallest little things that we do now. And he's starting to make a claim that the the muscles and the power and the parts of the brain that we use to make decisions on a daily basis is being atrophied. That's even more so than and more alarming than anything that I have been saying. And he lays out this. So Vikram is also a lecturer at Harvard. He's a math guy, MIT. I haven't put together all of his credentials. He's incredibly brilliant. In fact, he was one of the leading LinkedIn contributors for several years in a row before he started to realize just how much social media and LinkedIn and the thirst for likes and shares of his articles started to dictate the sort of efforts he put out in his contributions, in his writing. And so when he realized that he had become a prisoner of his own audience, he quit. And this is something that Animal and I don't have to worry about. We're gonna do content that we all dig together, and we're having fun. You know, I can't imagine if I got on here every morning and Tally and Hippie the Hills and Jaron and Charlie and Jennifer all started yelling at me every morning. Talk about this. Talk about that. Boo, your show sucks today. Talk about this. Well, then I would find myself trapped in my own prison of my own audience. But we, have been able to have a lot of fun. And luckily, if you guys, and that's the thing. If you guys want me to talk about something, you have questions, you can always write me. Think about everyone should be aware of the manipulation, but sometimes you have to play the game, it seems. Well, absolutely. You just don't want to be consumed by the game. You just don't want to have the game dictate your life. You want to be able to step in it when you need to, play it when you need to. And in any corporate environment, you're playing the corporate game, but you should be able to step out when you go home and then clock back in and play the mental game the next day. I'll try to pronounce this. Elo Roscoe 92 says, I've been reading 3 books a chapter a day of each. Honestly, I get more productive after reading. I get more productive after reading, my bud. That's why I get inspired by reading. It's the only way. And not by Twitter, I'll tell you that much. Be blocked real quick. Jared. Well, I'll just start blocking people. we all have to play the game at some point in our lives, but we should be able to clock out when we want to. And it should be a game that we want to opt into. It should be a game that we decide to play. Right now, because of the culture we lived in and the heightened animosity in society against each other, where it should be directed at the powers that be, well, this is a game that a lot of us haven't opted for, but yet we're stuck in it, and we're going to try to maneuver through it to the best of our ability using our brains and understanding human nature, so we're able to move through it. Guys, I wanted to talk about some other things, but I don't have a chance. I did see that Chop has been closed down. The authorities have went in with their bicycles. Imagine the cavalry and bicycles had come in, rounded everybody up. More about that. I'll talk about that tomorrow. I'm really interested in the results of that experiment and see where we are. Guys, I want to thank you all for joining me today. If you enjoy what I had to speak about and you want to know more about persuasion, connection, and networking, check out the Art of Charm Communication Accelerator. It is in the link tree of the Instagram, link tree of the Twitter bio, and description in YouTube. What is it? Yes, it's all of our best stuff from our online training programs and live training programs and expert guests of the Art of Charm podcast for over the last 15 years. It is awesome. Check it out. Let's talk about it. I'm reading this book now. We'll be interviewing Vikram soon. Hello, Nicole. You've joined a little late. We missed you too, but you know where to catch us tomorrow. Guys, I got to run. I will see you all mañana. Thank you very much. Let's try to go through some of these comments. You guys are rad. We had a nice crowd today, as always. Definitely 2 suicides. Mars Jasper mentions, yes, heard about 2 suicides already. Yeah, well, depression is up. And this is what happens when you don't give people a plan, you don't tell them what's going on, and you have the states fighting it out amongst each other. I mean, this whole thing could have been held together better, but I'm not going to... Social media has played a major role in this. Here's the other thing. You need people. If you want people to use social media as a tool, then it needs to be used by your leadership as a tool. And when I say leadership, I mean everybody in leadership, from mayors and governors and congressmen and senators and all the way up to Mr. Donald himself. But no, instead, we had a bunch of people poking around with social media, taking shots at each other because it's an election year. And all that did was perpetuate from the top down more people yelling at each other. And what do you know? That drove everyone to their wits' end out into the street. So that's why we are where we are. Oh my God. So I got to go, guys. I got another meeting. Check out the Art of Charm Communication Accelerator. It is awesome. All the best bits from our online classes, live training programs, and expert guests over the last 15 years. For influence, persuasion, connection, and networking, it's in the link tree of the bio in the description of YouTube. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great Wednesday, guys. It is Wednesday. Cheers.